This is KMJ at KMJNow.com or wherever you stream. Welcome to the Marc Kapetan Show. This is attorney Marc Kapetan, your host. Today's show is brought to you by the Kapetan Brothers Law Firm. We've been serving the Central Valley since 1995. If you or anybody you know has been injured in an auto accident, a truck accident, or a motorcycle accident, give us a call at 559-498-8000. Or if you've been injured in an accident or arrested for a criminal offense, call us 559-498-8000. 559-498-8000. Kapetan Brothers, we are the Valley's law firm. Folks, a special old friend of mine on the air today. As a school kid, I acted in plays and Shakespeare one acts. I loved the thrill of it all, the stage, the lights, the live audience. My urge for it took me into music and live performance on the stage, not acting. But like most actors, I too wondered what it would be like to be part of a motion picture project. It may not be everyone's bag, but deep down inside, I believe a majority of kids, extroverts, introverts, dream of, if not want to be in the movies as a movie star. I certainly was able to imagine myself cast in 80s John Hughes comedy like 16 Candles or The Breakfast Club. Me opposite Molly Ringwald. It was plausible, I thought, at least in my mind, I guess it was. And so it's the dream of many to move to Hollywood and become a movie star. However, how many of you out there dreamed of moving to Georgia to become a movie star? More specifically, how many of you dreamed of getting on a Greyhound bus with $20 in your pocket and buying a one-way ticket to Sonoy? I understand, right? Sonoy, not Sonoya.
Yes.
Okay. My next guest says yes, Sonoy, because I understand if you say Sonoya, the people in Sonoy will get very mad at you for pronouncing the A. With one goal in mind, making it big in the movies. Well, it may not have been $20 and a Greyhound bus, but my next guest, a Fresno native, carries on an industry started by her father and a college buddy to create and operate a film studio, an industry on the outskirts of Atlanta, for all places, in a little small town called Sonoy, not Sonoya. She is the studio manager of Riverwood Studios, which, among other productions, is the home of The Walking Dead. So I'd like to welcome to the Marc Kapetan Show from Riverwood Studios in Sonoy, Georgia, studio manager and friend Seana Hartnett January. Welcome, Seana.
Well, thank you. It's so nice to be here.
Listen, I love it, and I've known you for a long while now, but I didn't know how significant you, your family, your dad, and your husband, Jeff January, were to this whole Georgia film industry.
Well, it's been a little journey. I never thought it would turn into this, but everything happens the way it's supposed to happen.
I guess back in 1989 or so, your dad gets a call from an old college buddy of his, Paul. What was his name?
Lombardi.
Paul Lombardi. And Paul Lombardi decided to buy up some properties in downtown of this little sleepy town called Sonoy. And with the idea of bringing the film industry and competing with Hollywood to Georgia?
Yes. Paul's father, Joe Lombardi, was in the business forever. He built Desilu Studios for Desi and Lucille Ball. And they came out here to work on a show and just fell in love with Georgia and decided that they wanted to start a studio and see where it went. So they did. It's kind of the if you build it, they will come kind of thing.
And I didn't realize, because now it makes sense. I thought, who in their right mind would go to Georgia and build their own film industry thinking it's going to be a success and compete with Hollywood? And when you said, and I didn't know this, when you said Joe Lombardi built Desilu Studios. That's exactly what Lucille Ball did. She was tired of everybody treating her like the dumb redhead actress, a woman, and in the 50s had enough gumption to say, screw all of you. I'm going to build my own studio and I'm going to do my own productions. And this is the guy who did it for her.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Wow.
So he brought a little of that intuition and skill out here and built the first purpose-built studio in Georgia. And, there were some dry times, but it was kind of across the board here in the business. But then the tax incentives were passed, and it's just been booming ever since.
Yeah, and I understand that's another part of it. There was a guy, Scott Tix. How do you pronounce his name?
Tigelaar,
Scott Tigelaar,
yes.
That basically went to a state senator and into the Georgia Congress, basically, or the whatever they call their government there, and said, "Hey, we're going to try this thing out." And unlike trying to deal in California, they basically said, "What can we do?" and basically passed tax incentives to help you guys fund this whole thing.
Yes. And it's been very successful, and it's brought a lot of business here. And, people come here to work and they fall in love with it. It's a slower pace of life. You get more bang for your buck when you're buying real estate and housing. And a lot of people have moved here since the inception of the film industry.
A lot of the former Hollywood people?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's sort of like Nashville is for the musicians, where they're all flocking to Nashville.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Does the weather allow the same type of filming, schedules?
Well, we're kind of used to it now, I think. It's definitely not LA weather, but it's...
No, it's not.
Yeah, you just kind of... There's good weather services, and they schedule out, and they have backup plans, and it works out fine.
I mean, listen, you must keep the makeup people busy, because that humidity, all that Walking Dead makeup has to just start sliding off there, which may look good. I don't know. So
yeah, a lot of it's latex, so they also are extremely hot underneath that too.
I can't imagine.
I know.
Yeah, it turns out that this Georgia film industry now, this is 9 years ago, some of the statistics I was looking at, is a $2 billion industry, created 85,000 jobs at the time, and was $4.2 billion in wages. And I hate to keep on stressing it and going on and on about it. I had met your dad a couple times at political functions. God rest his soul. He passed away, about 10 years ago now?
2018.
Oh, that recently,
yeah.
Yeah. But literally, he went out there to run the studio for Joe Lombardi and his dad. And so this one studio that probably, was struggling to begin with and had no funding or anything like that, has now turned the state of Georgia into a $2 billion, has given the state of Georgia 85,000 new workers and $4.2 billion in wages and $2 billion in basically income for the state of Georgia.
Yeah. Yep.
And you got to be proud of that. That's pretty wild.
I am. It's kind of what makes it fun to do every day.
How long?
Just carrying that on.
How long did you work with your dad?
I worked with him kind of off and on. Once I started having kids, I would come in and do some billing and, some kind of part-time stuff.
Yeah. Okay. You did a stint with him long before you became the studio manager at Riverwood. You did about a 10-year stint either in that studio or one of the related studios, learning the business, right?
Yep. Yeah. And then we moved to California for a couple of years, and he followed us, and he kind of got out of the business then.
You're going to tell us a little bit more about that. We're going to go to a break right now. We are on with Seana Hartnett January. This is the MARC KAPETAN Show. She's from Riverwood Studios out there in Sonoy. Don't say Sonoya. Sonoy, Georgia. Riverwood Studios, home of The Walking Dead. We'll be right back after this on KMJ. It's News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Hey, catch us at kmjnow.com or wherever you stream. Welcome back to the MARC KAPETAN Show. Folks, you know the drill. If you've been arrested or cited for a criminal offense, or if you've been in an injury accident, I'm going to pop this music down here. I want you to contact the Kapetan brothers at 559-498-8000. Listen, I can't stress to you more that it's a very, very trying, scary time, that if you've been in an accident, you don't know what to do, you're hurting and you're in pain. And all it takes is a quick phone call just to get some answers. I'm not saying that you have a great case. I'm not saying we could even help you out in that sense. We have to assess your case, and you'll talk to an actual attorney. You won't talk to just some paralegal or some sort of salesperson. You'll talk to an actual attorney. We'll give you an assessment on your case, tell you whether you have a case or not, and you'll get some quick answers. So it's just one quick phone call, 559-498-8000. Kapetan Brothers, we're the Valley's law firm. Folks, I was also telling you, I'm going to put the music up again here because we got a little rock and roll coming up. Frico, my nephew from Chicago. Oh, there goes the music. So Frico, my nephew from Chicago, is coming into town. I want everybody to look up Friko. Seana, I want you to tell your kids, Seana Hartnett January, yes, from Sonoya, Georgia, at Riverwood Studios, home of the Walking Dead, on with us today. I want you to look up Frico, Friko. My nephew is Nico. He just got signed to a label and is coming in town. And by the way, if you need music for your movies, this kid is scary talented. I have one that is so riveting and so heart-wrenching about a little talk about Walking Dead, about a little girl that passed away, and he's at her graveside. And it is just a beautiful, beautiful song. I'll send it to you, Seana, right after this.
Okay.
Seana Hartnett from The Walking Dead. No, from Riverwood Studios and The Walking Dead. How long was The Walking Dead there at your place?
It was there for 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
You guys, so basically your studio is the one that made it famous.
Yeah.
Along with all the
the first season was 6 episodes, yeah, and then they came over to the studio in the second season, and then they went all the way through to the end. And the 11th season was pretty long, so it's almost probably like 11 or 12 years.
Let me ask you, what does that do? Okay, your dad started off back in '89, and their big movie that basically broke it all was Fried Green Tomatoes, which I'm assuming was very low budget and made a ton of money for them.
Yeah. Well, that was already going on when my dad got here.
Okay.
And so it wasn't that the studio didn't produce the movie. They just rented the studio. The movie did.
And that's the question that I had is, what is the studio business? I know there's the movie business and the production and directing and all that. What does the studio comprise itself of?
Well, for the purposes of prior to AMC purchasing the studio was pretty much a rental facility. Mm-hmm. It wasn't involved in, producing anything. But now that we're with AMC has its own content. So now we kind of become more of a production studio that produces its own content.
So the original intention of these guys is basically let's find a little small town that could be used for sets and all that kind of stuff, and give it a space for any producer that wants to come in.
Exactly. And it's set on 128 acres out in the woods, so it's been used for everything. We've got kind of the run of the place for locations, and we've got 2 lakes, and we've got creeks, and lots of woods that were in The Walking Dead for the whole time.
And is it still an active town, or is it completely now just a set?
We're just off the beaten path. We're kind of off to the side of the town, and the town has thrived because of The Walking Dead. A lot of money has been put into it. A lot of housing has been built. We have like 28 restaurants now. It's really kind of revitalized the whole town. It was kind of sleepy before. set off the side from it.
I for some reason, because I'm from the South also, I was born there, in the South, and I want to say, did you guys get a Piggly Wiggly yet?
We don't have any of those around anymore.
You guys,
there might have some, but not around us.
That's too funny. I was just teasing. Yeah. Driving Miss Daisy, Pet Cemetery, Meet the Browns. What else, you guys?
Oh, let's see. Free Jack. Lots of infomercials.
Yeah.
Lots of music videos. 5 Killers.
You met your husband on one of these, right?
I did. I met my husband on Walking Dead. He's been on it since season 2.
As
a first assistant director, and he's directed 5 or 6 episodes.
How neat that is. Yeah. So basically, and we're going to get to more about the family and your husband, etc. But basically, the duties that you had is almost as a rental facility, but now Georgia has a whole industry of props, set designers, caterers, et cetera, et cetera. And so now that AMC has bought you out, who owns The Walking Dead, basically, it is a full service facility now?
Well, we're still renting it out to another company. So we haven't really gone back into having our own shows there yet.
More spinoffs of Walking Dead?
Right now we're renting it out to a Blumhouse Amazon show called The Bondsman.
Yeah.
And
we're going to talk about that too. Yeah, I understand, because I want to surprise everybody with who's going to be starring in this new show that you have at your facility there. So if we can, I don't know. We'll see if we could do that or not, because I'm not sure if it's hush hush still or not. So we'll save that for this 4th segment. We call that a teaser, right, Marcella? Right. Born in Fresno, though, right?
Yep. Oh, no, I was born in Pasadena.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Where'd you go to high school?
Moved to Fresno when I was 3.
Okay. Where'd you go to high school?
We had moved to Texas for 7 years. So I went to 3 years of high school in Texas, and then came back and went to San Joaquin Memorial for senior year.
Look at you. A nice Catholic girl.
Yeah.
And then on to St. Mary's, right? Another Catholic school, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Let's talk a bit about your pedigree. You have a very famous mom here in town and a very famous family. You are also not only a Hartnett, but you're also a Whitehurst, right?
Yes.
Yep. Dad was basically a funeral director / mortician or something to that effect?
My grandfather,
I meant to say.
Yep. Yeah. My grandfather started the funeral business in Dos Palace, or in Las Banas, sorry, way back.
Was that ever consideration for you?
I dabbled in it.
You really did?
I did.
So before Walking Dead, you were actually working with the actual dead?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow. Like doing what?
I mostly did office things. My grandfather was not too keen on me going in the back, but of course I snuck back there. And I had a friend who was interning, and we would kind of go in on the weekends, and I would help her. So it was it taught me a lot of respect for life and dead.
Yeah, I get it. Scary for you as a young girl?
No, it wasn't scary. It was very humbling.
Mm-hmm.
And the weight of taking care of somebody's loved one after their soul has left their body is pretty heavy, but I took it pretty seriously. So I just hope other people do too. Yeah.
That's wild. Mom, you have a very famous mom for, around here, is Jane Whitehurst, artist, well-known artist here in Fresno, and a wonderful woman, right?
Yes. And now she's here with us. She actually has a working studio in Gay, Georgia, which is really cool. It's in the front of this old building that houses it's a brewery, and they distill bourbon now.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Out of her art studio?
It's in the back. It's kind of like a little speakeasy. It's really, really cool. Yeah.
I have to visit her. I actually wrote her to talk about you a little bit, and we're going to reveal what Mom said about Seana Hartnett January right after these messages. We are on the Marc Kapetan Show with Riverwood Studios manager, Seana Hartnett January. We'll be right back after this. This is KMJ. It's News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Welcome back to the Marc Kapetan Show. Folks, if you want to see a great concert, go to AmericanMadeConcerts.com, one of our new sponsors. AmericanMadeConcerts.com gives you all the best in rock and roll here in Fresno. They got a whole list of acts coming up, so AmericanMadeConcerts.com. Also, let's give a plug to Riverwood Studios. We have Seana Hartnett January, who's the manager of Riverwood Studios, The Walking Dead, the home of The Walking Dead, as I like to say. Mm-hmm. Riverwood Studios in Sonoy, right? I'm right about that, right? Sonoy.
Yeah.
So it's pronounced, it's spelled Sonoya, but you cannot say the A for some reason there.
That's what they say.
That's what they say, yeah. Sonoy, Georgia. And I'm becoming a fan of The Walking Dead. I started this series this year, and I'm fully entrenched in it. I didn't watch it before because I wasn't a zombie guy. I always thought it was dumb that zombies walked really slow everywhere, and somehow they always caught the person and ate them up and stuff like that. But you said there's some sort of explanation behind that.
Well, I mean, I agree with you about the zombies, but it's really more about the survivor stories. So that's kind of what got me hooked.
And that's what I figured out from the very beginning when is it Rick or they find that he's alive, and now his wife happens to be with another man, and so I started realizing it was all about the survivors. Yeah. So that's what got me hooked too. So.
Yep.
And excuse me if I got the name of the actor wrong, because I know there's huge fans. Yeah.
Yep.
So the plug is to Sonoy, Georgia, Riverwood Studios. The series and the franchise became so huge that now you guys have a tour of the studios, right?
We did have a tour for about 6 months.
Okay. See how?
But then we came back and we had to kind of stop. We couldn't really see anything without giving away spoilers. So.
Okay. All right. So you just blew my whole promo for you guys.
Uh-oh.
But people still come to see the city and see the place where all the shooting was done for The Walking Dead, right?
They have walking tours and driving tours, and you can go to locations that were used for the show, but not on the studio property.
Not on the studio
anymore.
Property. Yeah. Yeah, and I guess part of it is Sonoy, Georgia. The city mayor basically opened up the city and says, please, come one, come all. We'd love to have you tourists over in our nice little town.
It is.
You were talking about family and stuff like that, and we were talking about the Whitehurst family and your mom, Jane. Jane had, I've known her for years and years, and she had cute little quote that she said about you. I said, tell me a little bit about yeah, are you ready for this, by the way? The person who says she doesn't want to be in front of the camera. Yeah. She wants to be behind the camera. She says, Seana, as a toddler, loved to wear my high heels. I mean, all the time, for years. She also liked to sing. Being the first child and the first grandchild on both sides, she always had our full attention. She would get up on the fireplace, which was her stage, and belt out her favorite song, which was
Delta Dawn.
Which was Delta Dawn, the Tanya Tucker version. While wearing her heels, of course, we would all cheer and clap for her because she was so darn cute.
Oh, that's so sweet.
You and Mom have a really close relationship, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, she moved out there to be with you guys, and you have your okay. So you married Jeff January, who's a director on the show and at the studio, and you said you have a Brady Bunch family. What's that all about?
We do. So I have 3 children, and he has 3 children, both from previous marriages, and we got married, and now we're the Brady Bunch.
No kidding. And what are the age ranges?
So 29, 25, 19, 19, soon to be 18, and 15.
Oh, cute.
And they all get along like they were just born to be siblings.
And there's a bit of a crossover there, right? So the 19 and 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I loved when I was reading about you, is that they literally act as if they were, well, I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but they literally act as if they are biological siblings, basically.
Yeah, they get along so great. They're all in sync. They just have such a good time together.
Okay.
It's really nice.
true biological. If you're anything like my family, true biological siblings would every once in a while throw in a punch or something like that. So,
well, they're a little bit older, and none of them are really that way. They're all kind of just, get along. It's really fun.
Any of them working at the studios or in the movie industry?
Yes. Two of them are. My son Jack is working on a show in Atlanta, and Tate is working with Jeff on this show, on The Bondsman.
Oh, good for you. Good for them, I mean. Yeah. Carrying on the tradition.
Yep.
You got your brother Ryan out there.
Yeah.
He does what? My buddy Ryan. Hi, Ryan out there. he does special effects, right?
He does. Yep.
Oh, that's got to be a blast. That fits his personality. I'll tell you that right now.
It does. And my brother Blake is out here also doing special effects now.
Oh, good. Oh, God. You got the whole family.
I know.
Oh, that is so special of you guys, man.
Yeah,
that really is.
It's really nice.
At one point, were you living in France?
My husband was, and I was going back and forth.
For what?
So he was working on the Daryl Dixon spinoff of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And it was all French crew and French actors except for Norman. And he had a blast. It was, neither of us speak French, so it was kind of it was fun.
All I remember is qui coupe le fromage. Qui coupe le fromage means who cut the cheese. Marcella's looking at me like, you idiot.
I didn't learn that. It was all bonsoir, bonjour, santé. That's it.
On the East Coast, we took French. You didn't take Spanish like you do out here. So on the East Coast, we took French. And one day I spent about a week trying to get my teacher to, ask her, how do you say cut? How do you say cheese? How do you say who? And then at the end of the week, she's like, all right, what are you getting at? And I said, qui coupe le fromage. Yeah. How was that? Just France was just beautiful?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. It was really great. I mean, just to be immersed in it and actually live there, in a neighborhood with the same people, and it was really fun.
What part of France?
I was back and forth. We're in the Marais.
Beautiful area. I don't know where Marais is. I'd have to think about that one.
It's the 3rd and 4th district.
Oh, I don't know.
It's kind of like the fashion district, and it was very cool.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of shopping for you?
It's not, a lot of shopping, not as touristy.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of more neighborhood feeling. And so we got to know all the restaurateurs, and it was really fun.
And I understand if you get outside of Paris, they treat the Americans a lot nicer, and they're just really sweet people.
They're actually really nice in Paris. It's just, they're not friendly. So you walk around I live in the South now, so I smile at everybody. I always smile at everybody. And in Paris, I learned to not do that because they just don't smile back. But once you engage them, they're very nice.
I want to ask you about the South and in the comparison with California. We'll be right back after this. We are on with Seana Hartnett January from Riverwood Studios, home of The Walking Dead. Right after this on the MARC KAPETAN Show. This is KMJ. It's KMJ at KMJnow.com or wherever you stream. Welcome back to the MARC KAPETAN Show. Folks, you know the drill. Kapetan Brothers. If you've been arrested or cited for a criminal offense, or if you've been in an injury accident, auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, if you've been run over by one of the Walking Dead, give us a call at 559-498-8000. I don't know if you could sue a zombie, but we could try. We could certainly try. Call the Kapetan Brothers at 559-498-8000. Kapetan Brothers, we are the Valley's law firm. We are talking Walking Dead and everything about the Georgia film industry with Seana Hartnett January, who is a Fresno, not native, but grew up in Fresno for a period of time. Member of the famous Whitehurst family, who's now in Sonoy, Georgia, at Riverwood Studios, home of The Walking Dead. Hey, speaking about famous Whitehurst members, do you ever talk to Uncle Dan?
Yeah, yep.
Uncle Dan was our... Do you know the story about him on the David Letterman show?
I do.
Uncle Dan was... Marcella, back in the day, her Uncle Dan Whitehurst was our mayor. And he was on the David Letterman show. And I mean, all of Fresno watched this show. And we're like, oh no, because they're going to make fun of Fresno. It was voted the worst city in America, right? Out of 230 something cities, it was voted the worst city. And he just turned it all around as far as the perception, because David Letterman asked him something about, are there any new laws passed? Do you remember what he said?
I am trying to think.
It was something about they passed a law that you have to have an alligator on a leash, or something to the effect, and that they outlawed leisure suits, something to that effect. And it was funny, and it made David Letterman laugh, and everybody saw Dan Whitehurst as the greatest guy in the world and the greatest representative for Fresno. So, yeah, very famous family you have there. So,
was that about the same time they had the soap opera Fresno?
Oh, that was actually a little bit later, I think, later, but maybe you may be right about that. That's right, with Carol Burnett.
Yeah.
Poor Fresno. Oh God.
Fresno.
I could never understand why Fresno. It's funny that your dad went to Georgia to do this stuff, because I could never. I mean, I'm talking for 30, 40 years. I've thought, why isn't Fresno, a lot more affordable, a second Hollywood, or even for the movie industry, a second place for recording? And I could never figure out why someone didn't have that idea of bringing it over here. You guys did it in Georgia. So, all right. Well, I don't know what I was trying to make a point there, but okay. Do you guys retain points at all? And what for the audience out there, do you guys get a residual income being the studio that was used for The Walking Dead?
Not necessarily. It was still kind of like a rental facility. Even after AMC bought it. Does it
turn you guys on to a lot more business, though?
I would think so. I mean, we're still just kind of recouping from The Walking Dead, really.
How so? What do you mean by that?
Well, they were there for so long. We had a lot of rehab to do, a lot of cleaning up, and a lot of upgrades to infrastructure and just to kind of get it ready to get back on the market and start fresh. It took us a while. And then COVID, kind of pushed everything back. And so this is kind of our first little foray back into having people there. And it's really nice to have activity there.
Well, and the activity that you have and the little foray that you're talking about, you mentioned just briefly, is a show called The Bondsman, which is about what? And then we'll tell who it's starring.
It's about an undead bondsman. So we have traded zombies in for demons. We can't shake the undead world.
And it's a bondsman. I won't get into it because I understand there's some non-disclosure agreements and stuff, and all the stuff that you're talking about has already been publicly revealed from what I understand.
Yes.
Has it been revealed who's going to be the actor on this?
It has.
And that is?
And it is Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon, Marcella. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Marcella says, I love him. Of course.
Everybody loves him.
Everybody loves him.
So great. Yeah.
So most people we try to find a 6th degree of separation with Kevin Bacon, and you now actually have a 1st degree separation.
That's correct. Yes.
Nice guy?
He's very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah.
Dedicated, hardworking, all that kind of stuff.
Yes. He is not disappointed. Sometimes you meet somebody and you just go, oh, how disappointing.
Really?
They're so built up, you know, and he's just like you think he would be.
He's what you think he would be as far as nice, genuinely nice, good-hearted, and then some, basically.
Yep. And funny.
Yeah. And Kira comes to the set. I mean, do you have any type of relationship with his wife?
I have not seen her, but okay. I think she did sneak out there one time.
Well, we won't say. So I mean, how far into this filming are you guys so far?
About halfway for the first season.
Full series?
Yes. Well, it'll be kind of like the pilot season and see if they get picked up.
This is an AMC production?
No, this is Blumhouse and Amazon.
Oh, that's right. You said Blumhouse. Oh, geez, Amazon. I mean, that's one of the biggest producers, and so is Blumhouse, right?
Yep.
And so the seasons used to be, so what will they do? What, six shows again?
They're doing 6, yeah.
But it sounds like it's going to be a great show and they'll be picked up.
I mean, how could you go wrong with Captain Bacon, right?
So you fell in love during all those old those movies back in the day too.
Of course.
Yeah, how great.
Yeah, that's my genre.
You have another project that's going on over there. What's it called?
The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob.
Okay, tell me about that.
It's kind of like Joe Bob Briggs. He critiques horror movies, and it's kind of like it's Roger and
Siskel and Ebert.
It's Siskel and Ebert. Yeah. But it's just Joe Bob. So he's got a little kind of shtick and makes his comments about the movie and it. Forgive me because I got to go. Listen, I got to go turn some of this stuff on. I don't watch TV much. I watch. I watch Life Below Zero, and that's about it. I don't know why. I'm just fascinated with that show. Well, you're busy.
Yeah. Well,
you got a lot going on.
So, is it literally a review show, or is it a comedy series about a review show?
It's a review show.
Okay. Oh, how great is that? So this Joe Bob guy just watches horror films and then how come I can't make my money doing that?
Well, you can.
Really? You going to pick me up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I going to be the latest project for you?
The John Hughes movies.
I would love to do a John Hughes movie. How fun was that stuff back in the 80s?
I know. Yep.
Future.
That's when it was good.
Yeah. Future for you and the kids and the family?
Just hopefully just having more fun together and traveling and making big meals and laughing and enjoying.
Yeah, you're loving life now, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're doing what you wanted to do. You followed in Dad's footsteps, which is always a great thing for a young kid to find what Dad did and follow in the footsteps. So
yeah.
Good for you. I love it.
Yeah.
I love seeing you. Last time I saw you was in Florida.
Yes. And that was fun. And it was 2 or 3 years ago?
2 or 3 years ago. So it's been way too long. Give Mom a big hug and a kiss for me, okay?
I will indeed. Thank you.
And say hi to the family for me too.
I will.
Seana Hartnett January, the manager of Riverwood Studios. Everybody go to Netflix or wherever, AMC, online, streaming, whatever it is, and watch The Walking Dead. I'm sure watching it. So watch all the spinoffs, do all that kind of stuff. Thanks for being on the show, Seana.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
We'll see you next week on the MARC KAPETAN Show. Thanks to my producer, Marcellus Lorio Taylor. This is KMJ.